Thanks for joining me today. I'd like to talk with you about the numerous changes made to Mos Eisley. Whether it's this green, elephant-looking creature that takes a stroll right across our field of view, or this robot hitting this little tiny droid, or the Wolfman being replaced by this lizard creature smoking out of a bong, and then the Wolfman being replaced again by another elephant-looking creature, or the addition of Jabba the Hutt, and of course when Greedo shoots first. This change always confused me. I could never understand why they wanted to take away from this scene by adding this big green elephant-looking creature that takes up our entire field of view. Why? Why? The answer is simple. They wanted to hide this green and white R2 unit.
How long have you had these droids?
About 3 or 4 seasons?
Let's take a look at some split screen, shall we? This big green creature is on the screen for about the same time as the green and white R2 unit. And here's another split screen for your viewing pleasure. This time, it's sideways. Before I explain why they removed this green and white R2 unit, let's take a look at R2D2, one of the most important characters in the entire Star Wars trilogy. Without him, the plans would have fallen into the Empire's hands almost immediately. He is an intelligent computer. Not only does he walk and talk, but we don't even need a monitor to see what's on his hard drive. He has a wide assortment of tools at his disposal, like this small robotic arm when he plays this game of chess with Chewbacca, and this other little robotic arm that's used for grabbing things when he decides that he wants to play a game of tug-of-war with Yoda. In times of crisis, his arms are used to fix things. And would you look at that, he even has a saw. He's like a Swiss Army knife. Oh, the Death Star. One of the most technologically advanced things that we see in the entire movie. Yet he hacks their computer in 9 seconds.
He's found the main controls to the power beam that's holding the ship here.
And his files are easy to access. Just plug them in and hit 2 buttons.
That way.
Trouble seeing things? No problem. He'll just extend his periscope. This radar scans for human life forms and who knows what else. He's got a built-in fire extinguisher that can be used not only to suppress fires, but to create a smoke screen as well.
Why didn't we just go to light speed?
If he wanted to switch careers to something less dangerous, he could always be a welder. And when he needs to, he can deliver a nasty electric shock. When the situation becomes grim, and the rebels absolutely need a savior, he always comes through in the clutch. Not only does he shut down the trash compactor, he works his magic, and the door opens.
I never doubted you for a second. Wonderful!
He fixes the hyperdrive as they're about to be tractor beamed.
You did it!
And also gets Luke his lightsaber at the last possible second. And he's also a pretty good waiter. Let's not forget that he's had to face some very serious adversity. He was shot, and then he was sold, and then he was shot by Darth Vader.
I've lost R2!
And then he was electrocuted, and then shot some more. And yet he survived through all of this. So let's get back to this scene right here. Why would they take out this green and white R2 unit and replace it with this green elephant-looking thing? George Lucas was obviously not happy with the original Star Wars and how it turned out, which is why there have been so many changes over the years. Did you catch this change? The cover-up or elimination of as many R2 units as possible. Here's the original scene of them coming into Mos Eisley. Do you see the R2 unit? Let me slow this down a little bit. You can see the R2 unit behind this vehicle as it goes by. This is the modified version. This big green creature has been added to take our attention away from the R2 unit. Here's the original version. The R2 unit is much easier to see. Another big green creature has been added to take our attention away from the R2 unit. As they arrive, we can see this same R2 unit off in the distance. And once again we see this big green creature taking our attention away from the R2 unit. Another R2 unit rolls by as C-3PO expresses concern. A dewback has been added, expressing his concern. This scene was left alone because this R2 unit was on the screen for less than 1 second and his color scheme is much different than R2D2's. This scene was not modified either, because it was necessary to show us that each X-Wing had its own R2 unit, and its color scheme differs from R2 as well. This R2 unit is too far away from the camera. No modifications are necessary. No need to modify this scene. We were all listening to this.
We count 30 rebel ships, Lord Vader, but they're so small they're evading our turbo lasers.
We'll have to destroy them ship to ship, get the crews to their fighters.
This green and white R2 unit was taken out of the film because he looks too similar to R2D2 and he's too close to the camera. Over time, R2D2 became the most important character in the entire Star Wars trilogy. And I believe that the studio was concerned that the next generation of Star Wars fans, if the movies were left alone, would have said, R2D2 is not that special. There are numerous droids that look just like him. Any one of those droids could have done the same things he did. And that would make him less special, that would make him less unique, and maybe those same fans wouldn't be fans today. This matters because Star Wars is a business, and Star Wars fans spend money on video games, the movies, costumes, toys, Legos, action figures, and whatever else I'm forgetting. Oh, and one last thing. You can tell that elephants played a huge role in the development of these films. Let me show you. The bantha was played by an Asian elephant named Marji. I think I'm pronouncing that right. M-A-R-D-J-I, Marji. And would you look at that? You can even see her feet as she walks. And like I mentioned before, the Wolfman was replaced by this elephant-looking creature. Look at the hindquarters and the tail. Looks very similar to an elephant to me. This big-nosed tattletale looks like an elephant in disguise.
Alright, men, load your weapon.
The animators shot motion studies of animals in order to perfect the movements of their models. The snowwalkers followed in this elephant's footsteps.
Distance to power generators.
17.28.
And last but not least, Max Rebo. And that's that. Thanks for watching.